Okay, we're at 1 Corinthians 15 to 33. Be not deceived, evil communication corrupt good manners. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bosom and towards the remnant of his children which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall not eat. Okay, I'm not going to read there. Let's go to 56 of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 28:56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and toward her daughter. Okay? And that is what's taking place today. Okay? I'm going to read a little bit more before I start the discussion. For a particular reason. Okay? Let's go to Luke 24 and 17. Luke 24 and 17. Luke 24 and 17. Luke 24 17. Come on. 24 17. And he said unto them, what manner of communication are these that ye have one to another as you walk and are sad? Okay. Ephesians 4 and 29. Let's go there. Ephesians 20. 4 and 29. 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Okay. The reason why I started this discussion is because it's based off of communication. I want to be full adult on this audio for a reason, because there's a lot of this that's going on today. And I don't know if some people are aware, because I understand spirits get into people. But number two, I understand that there are people that are on the dark side and they're doing things to set snares to other people, to try to get them to knock them out of faith, or create problems, or do things to alter their life, or their communication skill, or the way they present themselves, or how bold they are, or maybe just the fact that they come across some of your audios or your voice or your presence, and they get offended, and they attack, because certain elements sometimes that's in complete darkness attack light. Now, I made this audio. This is Thursday night. So I decided to do this because I noticed the more and more I back away from particular lifestyles in this reality, that I'm getting spiritually attacked left and right. And um, it's nothing new to me at all. I'm kind of used to it, and it doesn't really bother me, that much. As I would say when you're not aware of things, it's like you'll ride along with it because just the spirit of things will know you don't understand until you finally start to understand. um, there's a scripture that states, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." Right now, when you're in tune with those communications that you feel a vibration from, or you know something is wrong within a personal people, you just associate yourself from it, separate yourself from it, because it has no good intentions of anything. I think there's nowadays it's to a point where it it uses prizes or presents or things of that sort to try to get you to be in connection with or agreement with the whatever it's trying to do to you. Okay. As far as the bad communication that corrupts good manners. Um, I notice it's completely stronger at this time. It's heavy and it's real deep, and it's sad that some people are not aware of those type of individuals. You know, um, they will fall into something and they won't realize that they have fallen into it until you know it's being presented to them that you fell into it. Especially if you're in constant communication with the source that's causing you to try to get you to speak evil or act, amongst that circle. So I have cut a lot of people out of my life for those specific reasons. And it seems like today and times, marriage, loving people, family, and children, um, keeping the Most High in your life, keeping Christ in your life, is a joke. People are saying things to uh, uh, pretend to be not a part of things, knowing well that they are. Wolf in sheep clothing type of attitude. We can expect that these days and times a lot of our children, a lot of the young are falling into it. So if you notice lately, there's a lot of behavior that they're displaying or they're putting out there. It's because of that. It's like an example, the video game Grand Theft Auto. Now, I had to depart from that game years ago because I noticed. I'm like, wow, I'm on this thing continuously. Now I'm a guy that grew up out on, in the street. I was always outside. I never understood until I started playing again. Because back in the beginning of the '90s, at that, me and the family, my brother, we used to say, "Oh well, yo, did you get the magazine?" Because at the time it was PC magazines, video game magazines. We used to actually buy them, and we seen that game in there. Now they started off with the one where it was on the side. It's on the side where it's like a board game type of game into the games. That was their first Grand Theft Auto. Then when they started to come to the next couple ones, they said mention over the years about I think it was Vice City or something like that. One of those, but it was the one after the first. But anyway, People are complaining that their children are acting out of control, taking the cars or running out in the street, dealing with bad communication. It's even a little bit worse than when we grew up. We ain't think about taking our parents' vehicle or weapon or do anything like that. Too much to a point where it's like excessive. Or nowadays, you get a majority of children or people are up late night. You know, so you got to think sometimes what tool and what devices is causing people to lose sleep or have no empathy or no direct communication or good communication with them on an intellectual level. Sometimes you don't have to necessarily be all proper, but you know it's like it's not like this anymore, especially online or even the phone. It's not, hey, how you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while. I went out to there. Hey, Dad, we was talking to such and such. I stopped past the old neighbor. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, I'll speak to you later. Bye. It's not even like that no more. It's like this constant communication through applications, right? And it's non-stop drama and problems. Everyone's bringing up who doesn't have clothing, who doesn't have underwear. I was shocked to hear that the other day. Who doesn't have a car or vehicle, or I'm not going to take this and that from my parents. I'll beat them up. Or um, hearing music nowadays. Here's a link to this that talks about doing harm to your parents, or them in the room. Uh, um, it kind of reminds me like a upgraded 70s and 80s when they used to deal with cocaine and stuff like that. Excuse me for getting to that, but that's an example. When they used to deal with, it's like an upgraded now to a point where it's like this is the process of life. This is the only thing that seems positive to them in order for you to communicate with me type of people. You understand? Disrespect have gone completely over the roof where it's like, um, um, if I see you leave your home, and this is family, me witnessing a lot of people doing crazy things, evil communication, text messages of people saying, well, this person just left the house. And they be family. Okay, well, let me run over here real quick. Let me know if you see them coming. They go steal something from their family member, or they do something, just such and such. Nowadays, you have people now, um, they will read things, right? As an example, scripture. They read scripture and they think that a lot of things are not going to happen to them or happen to the rest of the world because um, uh, they got some information from someone else. Whenever took the time out to read for themselves or understand such and such, you can't. You can look. It's a must to read scripture, but there's a point where you gotta dip into a little bit of social things because that's the only way to understand the times that you're living in. Okay, it's not community have fallen down. Um, People's honesty, two faced. You know, nowadays you can set up a few accounts and you can become anybody, especially online. Okay, and you can go and communicate with another person and do things to someone else and act as if you didn't do it, or that you and another person are not in communication, evil communication, to create these things for one person or another person. Now, if you catch on to some of the things, the evil communication, because you can tell it the way the language is displayed. Or, well, something's wrong with you, or you are crazy, or you're the one that got. It's a shame. It is a shame. Um, these promises that the Most High has stated, it's a blessing because you know what? I just hope and pray, with grace but some people do get out of the things, the communication that they're involved in, or the affiliation that they're in, because it's not. It's going to be a horrible time, man. I'm just going to be blunt, straightforward with you. A horrible time. This is no joke. This is serious stuff. You know, people are so in fear of communication now with other people and the physical because their car now has become a studio. You know, where you can set up your acoustic. I can understand you doing your music because people did that, in their vehicles years ago. But now it's so excessive now where people are just becoming um, um, Sally, Jesse, Raphael for the older people that know what I'm talking about. Uh, um, um, Oprah Winfrey, create men hate groups, become elements that can be used to create constant chaos, where the communication is just nothing about. It's about nothing positive, but it's about people's lifestyle or people's lives or personal business. That's having no compassion or consideration or love for people. I'm glad I grew up in the time that I grew up in because you know what? There was some love completely, at least during my time, and some of the parts of the 80s. When you're able to go outside your door and you go run here and there, and you might get caught up in a little something violent here and there, but it was a little lease of love from the neighborhood, where there was people that was concerned about your communication, the way you spoke to people, or how you dealt with out through the neighborhood. These times is nowhere near that. So you can imagine people from my time how they feel right now. Another thing that kind of bugs me as far as communication, people expect everyone to be involved in the newest updated t-shirts and jackets. I'm not talking about material, cotton material. I'm talking about anything that involves in technology or stuff like that, or trend or something like that. Everyone wants everyone to blend in with that and think that that's life because it seems updated. It's not wise. I used to now as I get older, I realize why a lot of older people used to tell me I'm not into that stuff that you new generation is into or this. Now I understand. When I was listening to rap, they was listening to A tracks. And they would say certain things about the music and this and that. Now I really understand what they say. Because if there's some form of constant evil communication or bad communication coming your way, and it don't feel good, or it's causing you to have anxiety, or it makes you push away from people, and you know something is wrong, or you consider it a test, you got to pull away from it. You leave with love and respect, and you just keep pushing on, and that's it. But there's so many people that are so, even my age bracket, that is so childlike, and that childlike can create a bad communication because they will not be able to how can I say this? Understand that they fully have not developed mentally in order to keep a stable reality that involves God, life, living right. They will forever think that you are wrong for what you're saying to them about them being wrong. Okay, it's man, wow. And another thing, this is where that armor is needed and it's able to protect you because you're going to be coming across a lot of bad communication and people that are going to internally, they know they have something set for you or do something to you when you don't realize it. So before I close out, this is going to be the last story I'm going to present here because this is another example, and I think I did it on another audio. But I was talking about a friend of mine that I haven't spoken to actually in about 2 years. Prior to that, it was a couple of years separated because this individual was always into problems and drama. You know, he has a bad, evil communication. And I stepped away from him. And the vibration that I used to get from him, because we was best friends at one point. You know, he didn't live, you know, live too far from my old neighborhood. And he used to be in communication with another best friend of mine, which I haven't seen in years. You know, um, that was my cool dude right there. We used to joke around and clown around a lot. But anyway, this individual, you know, used to live not too far from me. The vibration I got from him when I was speaking to him on the phone was real. It's like you felt it through the phone. That's how I felt. And I'm saying to myself, wow, am I, you know, people say, you know, you get older, sometimes you start tripping. But I'm like, hold up. I just got off the phone with my family member, like my cousin, and then a couple other cousins the other day. They was okay. You know, you can feel it. You know, because every sound or voice has a vibration to it. You can tell if it's something real or it's fake or it's phony. And when as he talked, I knew that this individual was trying to look for something to record. And I'm saying to myself, why am I feeling this? This doesn't feel right. I never in my life felt like this towards this person. What is he up to? So I say to myself, let me limit my communication right now. Let me stop it. Okay. Now this was 2 years ago. I'll never forget it because you know what? In some way, I'm a cool individual. If you start giving me off, I'm cool with you. I like you. Whatever you vibe together, and that. Yeah. But if you start giving me particular vibes or you started doing strange things what I'm trying to say is this individual used to get me in a lot of street beef. I'm gonna put it like that. Used to give me a lot of problems. Now as we got older, I noticed he calmed down a little bit, but he still was going. But that specific time of communicating with him on the phone, I said to myself, this feels dark. I come to find out later on, this individual was turning against me. And I think I don't know if it was out of jealousy, but it was jealousy for no reason because I don't have nothing. But I think it was the fact that I stepped away from the neighborhood and this individual noticed, you know, that it's all about heart the way you move through this world. You got to have the heart. You got to have the Lord with you at all times. You can communicate with anyone. As long as you're sincere, real, and you ain't in with that evil communication or that evil spirits or those evil behaviors, you good walking through this planet. Trust me. Anywhere you go. Just get where you got to go, mind your business, avoid, which is sometimes hard, but that's it. But this individual gets upset with me because of that situation or whatever, I don't know. Now this individual was still in the struggle at that. I can understand that because he just lost his parents. You know what I'm saying? Then he lost a sibling of his sister. So, when you raise around that Pacific evil community, it's bad. I ain't gonna say evil community. It was bad lifestyle choices communicated to him as he grew up, and he's gonna have no choice but to lean on that and thinking that that's the way to live, or that's what he had to hold on to. So when I felt that Pacific vibration online, and then I found out later on some more stories, I said, okay, that's why. That's why. And I was like, people will switch on you like that. It'll be in the form of sometimes jealousy. Okay. The fact that uh, um, you might be getting a little too much of attention from something, or um, this individual was upset, And then another thing, he wasn't the way he was until he became involved in the Pacific element that he would carry around all the time. And sometimes those devices would give people the feeling of power. It feels as though that anything that threatens them, um, they would use it. And I think that's where he started to go wrong, because his last communication was about him getting into a conflict on the bus, and it'd be the stupidest stuff. Those are the type of people I grew up around and been avoiding for a long time. From that era where you step on my feet, I can't stand you. I'm ready to fight you. I'm doing something. Or if we had a basketball court, I can't stand you. Let's fight later and this and that. But he's still going. He's damn old, my guy. 40, almost 50, close to 50 years old, and still the same way. And those be the type of people that, that bad communication that I grew up around, where the elderly will be those type of people just sitting around all day and night, or being out through the neighborhood just watching and getting into trouble with the rest of the young. So people, be aware, even on here. There's going to be a point where you're going to have to pull away fully from this, because it's nothing but trouble. I don't care what nobody say. Um, hmm. Then you have people that try to um, get you to be and have ties with you. Sometimes when you have that little bit of ties, make sure the ties is on a positive level. That way, when you notice something, you can detach yourself from the evil communication. Yep. I think I did another audio of. I had to find a martyr. I think I did another video on that last year. Yeah, detachment. But some people are so afraid of detaching themselves from people. Like I said, it's hard because it's the state of the world the way it is now. You try to communicate, you try to be positive, you try to be nice, and sometimes you can't. You just do a little something, keep moving. Like I did recently, not recently, but for a long time at that as well. Try to help people and their family out with children. You know, go take them stuff, knock on their door, give it to them, or let them know, I just bought such and such, or man, here goes such and such, and then you don't say nothing about it. Before you know it, later on down the line, they talking bad about you. Evil communication, because someone dislikes someone that's been. They think someone's trying to outdo them or outshine them. It's ridiculous, man. The pride, basically. So this is a audio clip on evil communication. I'm closing out. It should be a 29 or 40 audio. All praise to the Most High. Y'all stay blessed, stay strong out there, and watch your surroundings and your spirit as well. Peace.